I was driving down Highway 29 in Napa, and I stopped off the side of the road on a small countryside road that split through a bunch of the famous Napa vineyards, close to Opus One in Oakville, if you know where that is. And I had just gotten a turkey sandwich with extra mustard and extra turkey from Browns Valley Market, just south of there. Also, I'm on a cut right now, so we're making my powerhouse breakfast while I drop some pounds. So I got this turkey sandwich, incredible turkey sandwich. The little green Andes mint on top, one of my favorite places. And then there's this incredible cafe with these little frozen yogurt cups you can get right next door. I forget the name of it. It's like Napa Valley Coffee Roasters, or no, it's not that. But there's this other little shop right next to it that's awesome. You get this little mini cup of frozen yogurt with sprinkles on it, and the combo of that is basically the best lunch I could possibly ask for. I really couldn't ask for much more in life than this turkey sandwich, let alone being in such a beautiful place. Thanks, rice. I need yogurt, vital. Okay, so I have this turkey sandwich, right? And I drive up 29 to go eat it. I sit down and it's in the fall, it's crisp, it's like 65 degrees with a tinge of UV that you can feel the warmth on your skin, but it's brisk from the wind coming across as well. The grapes are all starting to get picked or have already been picked, and so it's kind of this beautiful orange color. It's just like a really fantastic time to be in Napa, let alone with a good turkey sandwich. And as I was eating this turkey sandwich, I was looking out over this basically like massive, probably hundreds of millions of dollar vineyard operation. And as I was doing so, I was taking bites of this sandwich. And I was like, I had this thought experiment where I looked at the vineyard and then I looked at my sandwich. It's kind of ridiculous, but I thought in this moment, this individual moment, this individual sandwich, would it be any better if I owned that vineyard? If I had $1 billion, would this turkey sandwich taste any better? And I sat with it for a second. And I thought, yeah, I may have more financial comfort. I may have more things in my life, whatever it is. But the reality is that this experience of this sandwich probably wouldn't change at all. Not only would it not change at all, it might even not be better. 125 grams of rice. And that's when I got into the thought of this, which is that it might actually be potentially worse. This experience might actually be worse if I owned that vineyard because of all the pressure I would be facing. Likely at that point in my life or in that world, I had the stress of being in the position of owning whatever company I needed in order to create $1 billion or hundreds of millions of dollars, the time I would have to sacrifice, the time I would probably lose for my family and my hobbies and my passions and all these kind of things. Like the amount of stress I'd probably be responsible for employees and like have a legitimate impact on the economy. Like there are big things at play once you're in a role of that stature, that nature, that could theoretically take away from this experience. I might not even enjoy the turkey sandwich because I'm so stressed about all these things. Whoops. What you gonna do? This is what happens when you don't know when you're making YouTube videos. Actually imagine that world where you are responsible for the livelihoods of potentially thousands of people, or your product or service interacts with thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, right? The content you produce interacts and impacts many, many people. The amount of pressure that you might feel in that would be like astounding, right? And so the thought that, oh, I could just sit down and enjoy this nice turkey sandwich while watching the sun crest over the Napa Valley hills and watch the wind blow through the grapevine and enjoy it, like that might actually be a pretty foreign experience if you are in that place, if you're in that time. And here's the move that I watch people make consistently and constantly, and it's the one that I've made plenty of times myself, which is you take some feeling you want, enough, calm, proud, at peace, and you nail it onto a future outcome, a physical outcome of the corner office, right? Or the mountain summit, or the amount of money you're going to make, or whatever that looks like. Right? Like when I ship the project, when I deploy that into production, when I hit the number, when I hit this level in my company, when I finally own the vineyard, then and only then will I feel it. But the issue is that you're writing a check against a version of yourself that you've never met in a life that you can't picture. It's all imagination. And imagination or vision is a useful tool for setting direction, but for setting standards or expectations of how you will feel, it's inevitably going to fail you. The point of this is not to say that the vineyard or the $1 billion or the company or the impact or the application or deploying or the promotion or whatever it is, whatever the goal is, isn't important. It's to say that if you don't use your core values in the present moment to determine what the goal is, then there's a high likelihood that even if you were to achieve it, it wouldn't feel the way that you think it would. It likely would actually feel significantly worse than you would, because you're only going to imagine it feeling a really good way. And the premise is that, like, you actually can't imagine how you would feel. So your image, your vision is inherently going to be wrong. There is no way for you to know how it's going to feel. And so there's always going to be this gap between what your desired future state is, like what your image is, and what you actually get. You will always be disappointed. So to reiterate, if you don't use your core values in the present moment to determine what the goal is, then there's a high likelihood that even if you achieve it, it will not feel the way you think it will. It's almost guaranteed that it won't feel the way that you think it will, because it's made up. It's made from your imagination. And the second thing is, it's unlikely that the thing you're even after is the thing you even want, right? Because you never actually question the alignment between your values and the overall goal in the context of all the other things that you find enjoyable and meaningful and satisfying in life, right? And what ends up happening is then you go into this place where you start distracting yourself and you don't spend time on anything. So the third piece brings us full centered. If you aren't aligned and you are fighting it in the present moment because of the misalignment, then you are unable to stay in the present moment. When what ends up happening is you lose focus. Now it becomes a performance issue. You become disorganized, you become resistant, you find yourself overthinking, you find yourself stressed. The misalignment created is actually leading in the moment to the loss of performance, which in turn reduces the likelihood that you will ever even achieve the dream outcome in the first place. So this is the overarching lesson, that the more you focus on the end result, the more time you spend focused on an imagined reality that you'll never experience, associated with imagined emotions that you will also never experience, because you can't imagine how you will actually feel in the moment. You can only feel it in the fucking moment. So the more you focus on the turkey sandwich in the present moment, the powerhouse breakfast that you just made, the work in the present moment, the higher the likelihood that you will even achieve the dream outcome, because you're focused on the thing that's actually happening. You're focused on the work. You're focused on the present moment. You're focused on programming that you have to do, or the writing you have to do, right? The essay you want to build, or the poetry you want to write, or the project you want to deliver, the service you want to build, whatever it is, you're focused on that. And if you're focused on that, there's a higher likelihood that you will actually create the thing. And then whatever the actual reality that will be better, because you spend more time on the present moment. So the more you focus on the dream outcome, the higher the likelihood that you will not achieve it. The person worth becoming isn't the one who finally arrives and gets permission to feel okay. It's the person who can already taste the turkey sandwich, right? Not because he's settling, not because he's not dreaming or a visionary with a large potential future. Those things still matter. And he's still pursuing them. And he's still going to build the thing, or the service, or the company, or get the round of funding. It's just that his sense of self and of being enough isn't locked in a vault that he doesn't have the key to open yet. I'll get my creatine in. He doesn't have to wait to feel good about himself. He just enjoys the present moment. And in the present moment, he focuses more and he thinks less and he does more. He takes more action. He puts his phone down. He scrolls less. He's more content. He's more joyful. He's all of these things because he isn't so heavily reliant on an outcome that will never occur, because it's completely and entirely made up. Even if he still uses the outcome that you are using in order to derive direction. And with that, we have a breakfast that is about 567 calories, if I had to guess, probably 45 grams of protein. If you like this story and this concept, and you want to perform at a higher level, you want to spend more time focused, more time engaged on the things that actually matter, and have a higher likelihood of achieving that dream result without having the anxiety and the disappointment of not being there yet, or the comparison gap that you create, follow or subscribe, like this channel, come back to it, because I have actual tools and actual resources that will help you spend your time more effectively and have a higher likelihood of achieving your potential. And I would love if you just reply and comment, what is your version of the turkey sandwich? What's the thing that you would like to be enjoying in the present moment that sometimes the gap in between where you are right now and where you'd like to be with the vineyard, whatever it is, prevents you from enjoying? Let me know. Peace.